The preceding program was brought to you in part by Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. It's actually Town of Old Saybrook tonight, and with me to discuss what's going on in the town is Old Saybrook Superintendent of Schools, Chris Drezik. Chris.
Pete.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for stopping in.
Anytime.
So last time we were together, you were new. So now I guess the honeymoon's over.
It's totally over. Yeah.
How are things going since we saw you last year?
Things are going great.
Yeah?
It's a wonderful community. It's a wonderful district. People have been great, and it's really an opportunity for us to do a lot of great things for kids. So it's been great. Town's been very supportive, and a lot of exciting things happening.
So give us a little bit of your background. You've been here about a year, but before you were here, I believe you were in...
I was in Enfield.
I knew that.
Yes, I was in Enfield for almost 20 years. Only the last 7 as superintendent, and I was assistant superintendent for 5 years prior to that. But about 20 years in Enfield.
Now, obviously, Enfield's bigger town than Old Saybrook?
Yeah, a little bigger. It's about 5,000 kids, 12 schools. It's a pretty large community.
Wow.
It's the largest town in north central Connecticut. So
yep.
Right on the Mass line. So it's a little bit different culture there. But one of the things that I gravitated to when the opportunity to come to Old Saybrook was the size. It's smaller. It's a different dynamic, and it was a really an amazing opportunity for me to consider. And I'm grateful that they ultimately chose me.
Nice. So. And since last we saw each other, obviously we're in the middle of October, so school started in September. How are things going so far?
Things are going. We're off to a great start of another school year. The kids are doing amazing things. We're in the midst of wrapping up the fall athletic season, so the rest of the week is tied up with shorelines and finishing up senior nights, and we've got a couple of band concerts this week and some musical performances last week. So the kids are rolling. Everything's been going great. It's a great start to the new school year.
Nice. So let's talk about the 2026 through 2031 strategic plan.
I can't believe we're talking about 2031 already.
I know.
So our current 5-year strategic plan expires at the end of this school year.
Okay.
So it's an opportunity for not just the administration, but the Board of Education to really take a look at what we want our district to look like for the next 5 years and beyond. So we're starting that process now. We've done a lot of work internally as far as soliciting feedback from everyone, from the community, from parents, and most importantly from students. And actually just last week we shared some of the survey results with the Board of Ed for the first time. And they're starting that journey of planning out what are the priorities for us as a district and really as a community for what we want our schools to be over the next 5 years and maybe hopefully even beyond that. So gotten a lot of great and interesting feedback, particularly from our kids about the dynamics of what public education is now. There's a lot of options for kids with magnet schools and choice schools, and we kind of need to hear from them before we start planning. We can do all the planning in the world, but if they're not interested in taking what we're planning, then it doesn't really, it's kind of counterproductive. So
exactly.
The board has been great and supportive in making sure we're getting, not just our staff and our parents' voice, but most importantly, our kids' voice in this process. So we have begun that process, and I envision that taking up probably a lot of time for the remainder of the year with the hopes that it'll be finalized before the end of the school year.
Now, what exactly is in the strategic plan, and what exactly did you present to the Board of Education last week?
So we gave the board a framework for sort of pillars of priorities, if you will.
Okay,
So,
sure.
you know, obviously academics and high quality instruction is always a pillar of any strategic plan. But within that, we asked the board, you know, what do we want that to look like? What do we think high quality instruction looks like for our kids? And sort of embedded in that is, what do we offer kids that they may be interested in that maybe we don't currently offer, or maybe we haven't quite thought of yet?
Right.
So that's where really the feedback from the students came into play. And it was not surprising, but eye-opening about the amount of feedback that the kids have gave us about things that they're interested in doing, particularly with things involving hands-on learning.
Right.
So it makes us, as an administration, as a Board of Ed, sort of rethink, do we just continue to offer the traditional programming that we have and we've done very successfully over the years, or is it a good time for us to pivot to meet the needs of where our kids are and where they're going? The challenge in our job is we're preparing kids for a world that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, right.
That we as adults maybe don't understand, but they have a better understanding of. So it's really an opportunity for us to reshape the way that we offer programming for our kids.
Now, as far as programming for the kids, you and I were talking off camera as we were getting ready to go tonight about a really cool program that you guys have with Electric Boat.
We do. We're part of a program with EB. It's not just us, it's all public schools within the area.
Oh, okay.
And it actually culminated with a signing day
Right.
at the end of last school year. So as kids go through this experimental program with EB, and they go through almost like an internship, and ultimately they can apply through the internship for full-time employment when they get out of high school.
Okay.
And if they are selected and obviously they sign on to do it, they walk out of Old Saybrook High School with a guaranteed job at EB through an apprentice and work program, depending upon the discipline. So
Right.
if you're into electrician or in welding, depending upon their discipline, they're not full-fledged, they go through it. But we had 3 students last year who signed a national, just like an athlete would sign a national letter of intent,
Yep.
signed a letter of intent to go work for Electric Boat, and they're working there currently now as an 18-year-old high school graduate, full-time employment, within Electric Boat, with a lot of career advancement opportunities right at their fingertips, right around the corner from where they live.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of kids these days who maybe aren't interested in going the traditional 4-year college route.
Right.
Maybe they want to, when I was growing up, a gap year wasn't a thing when I was a kid, but
Yeah, right now.
that's become more prevalent. But a lot of times kids want to just go into the workforce. So it's the way that we look at how we offer those opportunities for our students. But the Electric Boat program is fantastic. At the ceremony, Congressman Courtney was there, along with the president of EB, and you don't realize just in our backyard a company like that and the service that they make to the country with what they build.
Right.
And we've got Old Saybrook High School students that are employed there, 2 weeks after walking across our stage at graduation.
I've never been on the EB property, but it's pretty, just from what I see on the news, it's pretty impressive.
I must confess, I've seen it on video. The presentation was in a high school auditorium where there was, I don't want to misquote how many students were there, but it was a long ceremony with the amount of kids who went through it.
Gotcha.
And I can't tell you how impressed I was with the program that they offer these kids. And you think about it, at 18 years old, they're jumping right into their career for the next 30 years.
Right.
Just by going through by the connection that we've made through our high school and through Mrs. Using at the high school was very instrumental in doing that.
Yeah.
And gives those kids an opportunity to jump into an area that really interests them and have a viable career just by walking out of our doors.
And Congressman Courtney's a wonderful person.
Ironically, we talked earlier about my former district being that far away. Congressman Courtney was my congressman in Enfield as well as here.
Yes.
Ironically, when I thought moved down, I came down the shoreline, and I realized that I'm still in Congressman's district. So
he's a great guy.
we've talked about the E program for years because he's very involved.
Yes.
And my challenge in my old world was we were just geographically too far away to have kids commute that far to do the program. So when I got down here, he reached out. He's like, "You have no excuse now. We have to get some kids in this program." And it's great. It's great for everybody.
He's a regular on with me. He's usually on.
Is he? Okay. Next
He-
time I see him, I'll make sure I mention it.
He's usually on with me in October, November, whenever he's home. He always, him and I have a standing yearly visit together.
Okay.
That he comes down and
He's been,
hangs out.
he always answers the phone when I call, and he
Oh,
never
yeah.
says no. Any way he can, the first question he always asks me is, how can I help? So
Exactly.
he's been a great partner for us.
He's a great-
In 2 districts now, not just
That's
my own
right.
one, but my current one.
That's right. That's right. So what else is going on in the district?
So there's a lot of moving parts. Obviously, there's a lot of change. Me being one of them.
Yes.
We've had a lot of new administrators within the district. We have a new principal at Goodwin School.
We do.
We do.
Okay.
Matt Walton, who used to be the associate principal at the middle school,
Okay.
is now the principal at Goodwin School. We've added an associate principal at Goodwin School, and that's Stacy Anderson. She was a longtime career Old Saybrook Public Schools teacher,
Okay.
aspiring administrator, and when the opening came in, she's been wonderful. So we have a new team over at Goodwin, and we were fortunate enough to hire Matt's replacement at the middle school, a gentleman named Kevin Anderson. They're not
Okay.
related.
Okay.
But it was a good joke for me to say, meet the Andersons as our
Exactly.
new administrative team. But he came to us as a longtime administrator in New Britain. But he's
Okay.
now a Saybrook resident, so when it opened, he put his name in for it. So we got really, really lucky with a very strong administrative team in the district. So a lot of change.
And speaking of changes, you have a change in your office.
I do.
I know. I heard.
Yes, Mr. Gerber. We had to let Mr. Gerbers go do the things that he's great at doing full time.
What's he doing?
He is a project manager for everything under the sun. So all the little side jobs that we used to ask Trent to do, I finally looked at him and realized you're doing about 4 different jobs, Trent. So we're going to sort of carve out and allow you to take. So Trent actually has a very big role in our strategic planning process. That document that I mentioned earlier that I
Yes.
shared with the Board of Ed, all the surveying, all the information that we've gathered over the last really 10 years, Trent has warehoused that. And
Okay.
he actually presented that to the board last week as part of his new job.
Oh, okay.
The framework for the strategic plan document.
There you go. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Chris Strezick, who's the superintendent for the town of Old Saybrook. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so we talked about new changes in your office before
Yes.
the break, but we didn't mention who.
Who? Okay.
Who?
I was going to try to keep her identity a little bit close for now, but although we missed Trent in his current role, we hit the absolute jackpot with Trent's replacement, and that's Mary Beth McGrath.
Okay.
She's my new executive assistant, but she is wonderful.
Is she?
Yeah, she's great.
Okay.
You will learn.
I will.
Keeps me in line. She got me here on time today.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
She runs a
And-
tight ship.
And she got me talking points, so we're
Yes.
we're good. So, what else can we talk about the strategic plan for 26 through 31? I know we talked about it in the first half briefly, so let's get into more
Sure.
detail.
So there's obviously, when you're looking at reframing what the priorities of your district, and in my opinion, your public schools are the benchmark of your community. These are where your kids are.
Right.
What do we want that to look like? And what do we want our kids to be able to, what do we want to give our kids when they're done?
Right.
And really that's the opportunities that they want and that they see fit. And it could be anything from the courses that we offer, the curriculum that goes along with those courses, the extracurricular activities that we offer. I've heard a lot in the last year and a half from kids about maybe other sports that we don't technically offer right now, and it's a challenge at times because of our size. Maybe some other extracurricular type things that, not just art and music, but there may be a different type of, whatever kids are into these days. There might be, a karate club, and I'm just using that as an example. But really soliciting that information from our kids about what their interests are. We need to meet them where they are.
Right.
And that's the important piece. And then there's other conversations we had last week about, the nature of our facilities. We got our buildings and grounds and custodial staff do a great job upkeeping our facilities. Mm-hmm. But our schools were built in the 60s, right? So, along with the issues that go along with that, with roofs and HVAC systems and stuff like that's really a town-wide decision. And when it comes to, putting the resources together to make the necessary upgrades that are required. So this is a all-encompassing community discussion, although it's being led by the board and by the school system, mm-hmm. This really has an impact on everyone in town. Right. So we need to make sure that we identify the priorities that we feel the community, thinks is most important, right. And then continue that dialogue within town to make sure everyone agrees with this is where we want it to go.
Okay. Now, from what I understand, you guys have a beautiful turf field at the high school.
We do. Oh. We have a great turf field that had lights that were added in recent years.
That's right.
We have an amazing tennis court that's relatively brand new.
Okay.
We got new, our gym is not new, but the floors have been redone.
Oh, okay.
But we also got new bleachers in the gyms.
Oh, yeah? So
we have a couple of other fields that can use a little bit of work, mm-hmm. But those things take time, and we're definitely working on them. But we also have a brand new, as you saw when we came in off camera, mm-hmm. A new logo for the district.
That's right.
So the new Ram that's out there that has kind of taken on a life of its own. Everywhere I look, if I go through a school, a kid's wearing it somewhere, and that's the whole point. We want our kids to be proud of a mascot. It could be just a mascot to us, but it means something to them that represents them. But we're finally able to get that on both gym floors at the middle school and the high school too, so we're pretty consistent. So we know so there's been a lot of small, subtle upgrades that we've had the chance to make, but we're constantly looking for ways to improve.
What are some of the ways you want to improve?
At the end of the day, I want to make sure that whatever we do is always in the best interest of our kids, whether they're in kindergarten or in 12th grade, and really getting the interest level from them. Mm-hmm. Particularly when you're looking at our secondary school kids, as I said earlier, kids today have a lot of options for where they can go to high school. We want them to stay here.
Right.
So if they're choosing other options because it's not offered in their hometown, and it kind of takes it back to, as silly as it may sound with a mascot, kids want to wear the name of their town across their uniform or on a sweatshirt.
Right.
So for us, making sure that we design the programming in the system that makes them think twice about going to one of these other options that may be out there.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when I tell everyone that I talk to, I'm interested in everyone's opinion, but always be prepared to answer one question. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're asking of me, I'm going to ask you, tell me how this is good for kids. Right. If you can answer that, I'll support you. If you tell me it's good for you, you're wonderful, but at the end of the day, our responsibility is to give them the best that we possibly can.
Now, how's your athletic program?
We're good. We're small but mighty.
Okay.
Right? So I blame our athletic director. We didn't win a 6th state title in soccer last year.
No, you didn't.
So I told him if we don't win a 6th one, they're going to blame me. So I'm holding him responsible for that. But we're in the midst of We're hosting some Shoreline games tomorrow, both boys and girls soccer.
All right.
We've got field hockey senior night coming up Thursday night.
All right.
On the turf field.
Nice.
Under the lights. Our cross country team just competed at Shorelines I'm losing my days. I think it was Thursday.
Okay.
And we're starting to wrap up the fall season. I hope I didn't miss anyone. And then, I said field hockey, and we also have a pretty robust middle school athletic program too. Okay. Which is a good feeder system for our high schools. The amazing thing that I've noticed in this district is our high school kids mm-hmm. sort of take those middle school kids under their wing. So they our teams will interact with each other. Our ninth graders will come down and spend some time with our eighth graders and vice versa, because at the end of the day, it's all one community. We want to make sure that these kids feel like they're all part of it, as what our athletic director will say, Ram Pride.
And with your football program, you guys are actually intertwined.
Yes.
With Old Saybrook and Clinton.
And Westbrook.
And Westbrook, that's
so
right.
It's a tri-op. So
It
that's
is.
why I knew I left off a sport, because it's not just ours.
Right.
But we are in a tri-op with Morgan and Westbrook. And we have it's on my calendar. I know we only host one game between the three. And we haven't had ours. I don't believe we've had our home game yet.
Okay.
But we'll play one game under the lights there as well. I may have my days wrong, so don't.
That's okay.
Edit that out.
I will.
I don't want to get in trouble for saying that, but yeah. But we actually had more kids this year that went out for the football team than we had last year.
Oh, yeah?
Saybrook kids, yeah.
Really?
We were up to 7
Okay.
this year, where I think last year we only had 4. So
Yeah.
we're getting there.
All right.
We're just not big enough to have our own football team.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're getting there. We're working on it.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously you guys were migrating from fall sports into winter sports. So we got basketball and...
We've got basketball, indoor track.
Yep.
And now crew is in the spring. Trying to think. We do not have wrestling.
Nope.
I didn't know there was going to be a quiz, Pete.
No.
I know the only 2 sports that play in the gym are basketball.
That's fine.
So that's why it was important to make sure that we got the new Ram on the floor for these kids.
Exactly. And
They had the new Ram on their uniform last year, and a couple kids like, when are we going to get the new one on the floor? But we needed to do it over the summertime, because you got to redo the floors then.
so the new Ram is on the
The
floor.
new Ram is on the floor.
Okay.
His name is Rocky, by the way. I shouldn't call him the new Ram.
His name is Rocky.
The name is officially Rocky. I did not pick it.
I was going to say,
students
who
did it.
named him? You don't know.
Put
Somebody
it out.
did.
No, the kids named it.
The kids
We
named
did a poll of the kids, and Rocky was the winner. So
All right.
That was not me. That was not Trent. We polled all the students and said, we have this new logo. Do you guys want to name them? And they
Sure.
said yes. And the students led the survey and led all the voting, and we just unveiled who the name was.
Nice. And what else is going on at the schools?
So right now, like I said, we're kind of getting into we're past the beginning of the school year thing. Everybody's kind of getting into the race to Thanksgiving when things start to break up a little bit.
Exactly.
But we've got some Veterans Day events coming up that we usually sort of orchestrate within the schools, and we do a great programming on the town green, and we have a nice ceremony over at the middle school where veterans will come in, and we do a nice program with a lot of we have a breakfast for veterans in the morning.
Okay.
And then we'll transition to a program in the auditorium, I think around 10:30, 11. Then we ultimately culminate on the town green, where we try to bring as many kids and families and members of the community there as possible. So we really do a nice. We're one of a few schools who have schools on Veterans Day, but part of that is we do veterans programming, and we do a really great job at honoring those who serve. So you're all welcome to come on out to the town green on Veterans Day. I think we get out there around 11 or 12.
I believe they also do a Veterans Day program in Clinton.
They do, yeah.
They
some of the
do.
shorelines. My old district, a lot of people had it off.
Yep.
But here it's pretty robust, and it was a great thing to see, especially with some of our younger kids at the middle school who were talking about what it means to them and thanking family members or people they didn't even know for their service. So I think it's a great day for us to honor and to remember.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I actually did a show with the people from Reads Across America.
Did you? Okay.
Couple weeks ago.
I am very familiar with them. They
Yes.
would stop in Enfield annually. The only town on the route that would make it annually, because we would shut town down, and they would. So I actually got to drive in the trucks a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
parade through all the schools.
That must be cool.
It was really, it was a really moving experience.
Bunch of years ago, they came to Saybrook.
Okay.
And I remember, because I was doing my show, but we actually took a crew from the station and covered the whole, because we knew they were coming, so we covered when they came in, when the convoy came into the high school. We also covered the program.
Okay.
I was speechless.
Yeah.
I had nothing to say.
Yeah. It's extremely moving.
Oh my God.
We had a very active veteran community in my previous life, and they came down for a visit, and we decided we were going to shut the whole town down and do a parade with the trucks through the town and just let all the kids go out into the parking lots of their schools to drive it, because we couldn't get into every school.
Yeah.
And at the end, because there's a partnership with Walmart, as you know, they sponsor the trucks, and they actually said to us, "Could we come back?" So I was very fortunate to have a lot of experience with them over the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're
great.
They're just wonderful people.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of wonderful
Yeah,
things.
they're great.
They are. Well, maybe one of these days we'll get them back to Old Saybrook.
I think it's a 5-year rotation from what I was told.
Oh, is it?
You can't-
Okay.
you're not eligible, I believe it was once every 5 years. So I'm not
Okay.
sure when they were here last, but I know they broke the rule because of our proximity to the highway.
Yeah.
Came down. They stopped us every time.
So if people want more information on the Board of Education, where should they go?
They should go to oldsaybrookpublicschools.com.
Okay.
There is pretty soon there will be the document we talked about with the strategic plan is just in draft form at this point.
Okay.
But that's where we'll be communicating out all the next steps in this process and continuing to solicit feedback. As a reminder, if anyone's watching, parents, students, or staff, that survey that I mentioned that we sent to everyone, I think the cutoff date was today, but I can extend it to tomorrow if this doesn't air tomorrow.
It'll air tomorrow.
If it'll air tomorrow, so go out and fill out the survey. There should be a link if you have a communication with the district, because ultimately we need to hear what's important to everyone.
Chris Drzyk from the Old Saybrook Schools. I want to thank you for coming down. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thanks for having me anytime.
You got it. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
On behalf of Chris Drzyk, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next time. The preceding program was brought to you in part by